Assalamualaikum. Our third chapter is on developments of financial strategy. So if you look at your textbook, you're supposed to be able to evaluate strategic financial management policy decision. So if you look at page 87, you can see the components that you're supposed to evaluate the interrelationship between the investment, financing decision and dividend decisions of an entity, the interrelation between these three components. And then you're supposed to be able to advise on the developments of financial strategy for an entity, taking into consideration taxation and other external influences. So if you look at here, these are I think the major key points or key elements that you're supposed to learn in this chapter. But now let's look at the learning process flow diagram that I prepared for you. Yeah, step 1, if you can see clearly. Yeah, I'm looking at if you want to look at the textbook, I retrieved the points from page 88. The first one, we're going to look at how investment, financing and dividend decision and the interrelationship between this and meeting the cash needs of an entity. It's very important for entity to have enough cash because it can make sure the ongoing concept of the entity. And then that's the reasons why a company have extra investment, just to make sure that then they can bear the cost of operation and they can pay dividends to the shareholders, so that shareholders will keep their money in the business, before they take their money and leave and invest their money in other businesses. So that's very important for you to know why in this F3 you have to learn about the investment, the financing decision and the dividend policy. We're gonna learn that in detail from chapter 5 until chapter 8. Step 2, we're going to look at the sensitivity of forecast financial statements and future cash positions to investment, financing and dividend decision. Actually, these are the steps, not only catered in chapter 3, but it's actually the whole process of our F3. First we learn about the objective. Second one, we learn about the integrated financial reporting. Because we have to put into the context of a non-financial objective when the company form financial strategy. And then you look at the step 3, considerations of interest of shareholders and other stakeholders in investment, financing and dividend decision. Because it's interrelated in the sense that when you want to make an investment or you want to have financing from any lenders, you have to make sure that, because when you borrow money from a bank, of course there are certain amounts of interest you have to pay. So the amount of interest will reduce the amount of net profit. So lesser dividends goes to the shareholders. So these are the interrelations that you have to consider, in order to make the best decisions for the company. We will look into other chapters later on. Step 4, determining financing requirements and cash available for payments of dividends on the overall considerations of future cash flow. You have to make sure this one, that this where you blend the ratio that you have learned in the first chapter, the gearing ratio, price over equity ratio, this kind of thing. Step 5, financial strategy in the context of regulatory requirements and considerations of taxation and settling financial strategy. Maybe at the very beginning you don't see the whole picture first, but then when we learn about the financing options, that's where we will talk about on the Miller and Mogliani theories and something like that. We learn about the tax shield. That's all the thing that we will blend into the context of a financial strategy. So now let's look at the overall objective, or what are the coverage of the financial chapter 3 on the developments of financial strategy. We will look at the importance of the financial strategy to an entity, and then subsection 2, we will look at the key decisions of financial strategy. The key decisions of financial strategy can be divided into investment decision, financing decision, and dividend decision. We will look into this element in more detail in the later chapters. And then we look at the objective and economic forces. This one you have to integrate other element, not only in the textbook, but then we look at the SWOT analysis, the past analysis, and I also attach here the links so that you can have extra reading. And then we look at the impact of taxations on financial strategy, where you have to consider the issues of domestic and international tax implication to any decisions that we want to make in order to formulate entities of financial strategy. And lastly, the lender's assessments of creditworthiness. We have to consider this because normally when you want to apply for any financing, financial aids, lenders normally will assess the creditworthiness of an entity, see whether we can pay back them or not. These are the overall things that chapter 3 will cover at surface. All right. Now let's look at the I think we can like simply stop for a while, and we'll continue in the later video.